Time to go home, buddy.
He's so little.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's so warm.
Oh my god.
It's okay. Ow! Ow!
Baby! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Ow! Ow! Fuck! EDgun Leshiy presents 4K slow-mo scope cam. Today's video is sponsored by Olight, so I'll be back a little later in this video to talk about this sick new EDC Pew Pew light combo that they just dropped and flash sale that they got going on starting today. Before that though, let's just dive right in. In today's video, we're going to be doing some backyard pest control through the lens of one of the world's top scope manufacturers in March Optics. So I've been fortunate enough to be working with them to showcase their optics on top of my favorite air gun of all time, the EDgun Leshiy 2. To give you a front row seat, I'll be using the Eagle Vision GoPro scope cam mount. When I film in slow motion, this is really my go-to rig, as it films at a full 240 frames per second in a full 1080p. You'll see me use other scope cam systems like Tacticam, ATN, and some others from time to time as well. They all kind of have their pluses and minuses. And for me personally, they have very specific purposes. Actually, you know what? Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do a gear overview video for you guys and kind of go through the details of that. I haven't done one of those in years. So anyways, let me know. So as you've seen over the past couple of videos, I've been filming a bunch with these incredible scopes from March. It always takes me a little bit of time to dial in a scope cam for a specific optic. And in this video, we're going to show the net result of all that work with some incredible slow-mo footage. So grab your favorite beverage, kick off your boots, whatever you got on, and let's dive in. My neighbor stopped by the other day and was telling me about the squirrel damage to her gutter. So the amount of squirrels and chipmunks of late has seemed to significantly escalate. So if you're an OG fan of this channel, you'll recognize these rocks as who knows how many critters have perished on these rocks. They're about 30 yards from my office balcony where I have a little sniper's hide kind of cut out. And I saw this one come out of her garage, and I just walked out there and waited for it to present a good shot. If you look carefully in the upper right there, you'll see a chipmunk taking a little dirt nap. We'll go back in time here in just a second. I'm absolutely loving this 22 short setup I have. I have it shooting the 25 grain JSP pellet around 730 feet per second, so it's 30 foot-pounds or so. It's crazy quiet though, and honestly, powerful enough to really take anything in my backyard, but I primarily use this rig for chipmunks and squirrels from my balcony. And here's that one that you just saw before. So I love the illumination on the March Optics. The center dot is just absolutely perfect. This is actually the brightest option that it has, so I actually turned it down after this to something a little bit more fine-tuned. You can see the illumination now. It's not quite as big or bright, and this is perfect. So I'm a little shaky here as I'm leaned up against a post on my balcony. I'm not shooting off a bench this time. So I smoked this guy and dropped him about 40 feet off the ground. Back to the rocks we go, and this time it was this chubby chipmunk that took this 25 grainer right to the dome. In the early days of this channel, I didn't really appreciate the power of the modern day air gun, which is evident by the dents you see in the garage. So now I kind of careful when these critters are up on the rocks here. I'm careful of when I'll take a shot. So watch your pass through on this guy as you see the chunks of rock and debris go flying there. So I'm going to take a quick break from the action and thank Olight again for sponsoring today's video. So they just dropped a new light called the Warrior 3, and as always are doing this alongside a flash sale. So I'll drop a link at the top of the description if you're interested in checking it out. If you're catching this after the sale has ended, you can always use promo code EDGUN, EDGUN, to get 10% off any of their non-sales items. So the update to the Warrior light is a really cool one. They have integrated this new LED on-off switch to tell you on the right-hand side the battery life, and then on the left-hand side the brightness level. Speaking of which, this thing packs a punch. So it's got a max of 2300 lumens with a 300 meter throw. And really what that translates to, and given that tight kind of beam capability that you're seeing, the Warrior 3 has an accessory option of a really clever rail mount that is really small and compact, which is important to me, alongside a new pressure pad. So this gives the ability to go from an EDC to a gun mount with just one light, and it's really light. They also sent over this really cool pink i3T light in kind of like a pink camo. So it's 16 bucks, and this is the cool part. All proceeds are going to the Breast Cancer Foundation. So thanks again to Olight for the continued support of this channel. Now let's get back to the video. Here's another chipmunk in that same exact spot. Look at the mark on the rock from the pellet passing through. It's almost touching the previous shots passed through. You'll see it right here. Look at them. You see both. It's crazy. This shot is crazy. So I have the 7.62 Leshiy 2 with the March Genesis scope here. So I pushed the shot slightly, and that's not what made this shot crazy. But watch what comes into frame right here. The Hades pellet passed through, hit the tree, flew up, and then landed right next to it. It's unbelievable that was caught on film. Painting the pellets are a key part of the scope cam footage I like to film personally. So it makes for amazing footage like this, but it's also a great indicator of how the gun itself is set up, as you can clearly see the flight path. Or in the previous video where I was shooting long range, and you could see them just flying perfect, not spiraling or out of control. That's a really visual good indicator for me on how everything is set up. Watch the energy jump from the 30 cal shooting JSB Hades at 750 feet per second. This is as humane as it gets. And because it wasn't that graphic, I can actually show you how clear it is really up close here. We'll watch this one more time, and I'm going to really zoom in. Switch it up here for a second, and this is the 25 cal shooting a 32 grain slug around 800 feet per second. Watch as the energy just rolls down its body right there. This was at dusk as well. Man, I love these scopes. As I mentioned earlier, I use a few different types of optics and scope cam systems. So here's the ATN Thor 4 thermal, and then the ATN Binox 4K, filming in parallel with a little editing magic to sync them up. So I think I'll make this video next, showing you all the ones that I use and maybe a few tips and obviously some footage. But man, these binoculars in particular, oh, I love those things. Look at that. You could see that pellet coming through, and that was a 177. I'll end with this guy and pause and take a look at all those amazing pass-through dents. Oof. I don't know if amazing is the right word. I definitely have the coolest neighbor of all time. That is guaranteed. This is the 30 cal filming through the ATN Excite 4K Pro. And watch this again here. Watch, I just shoot the nut right out of his mouth. Boom! Right on the kisser. Thanks for watching the EDgun Leshiy channel. Want more backyard hunting videos? Grab your favorite beverage and get yourself caught up. There's hundreds just like the one you just watched. Here's a couple favorites to get you started.